Hey everyone, it's Moonkin FTW and welcome to the last episode of the RCT3 Masterclass. That's right, we are almost done with our roller coaster and how to build one. Because the roller coaster itself is pretty much done, it looks great, it's got some nice supports, some nice surroundings, good station, nice queue, nice pathing, all of that. But it still looks a little bit stale around the roller coaster. So in this episode, it's not going to be too long, we're going to focus on the foliage and some of the surroundings, if you will. So let's get started. Now, of course, we're going to have to place some trees around the roller coaster. And again, this really depends on what kind of theme you're going for. So for instance, if I want to go for, let me just open them all up. So something like this. So if we're going to go for a tropical theme, of course, we want to make sure that we are going to place palm trees. And usually what I do as a rule of thumb is I try to stick to either 2 or 3 different types of trees max. I don't want to mix them up too much because in a regular forest you're also going to find a few trees, but not 10, 20, or 30 different types of trees. So for instance, one option of foliage that I really like is the large oak right here. And usually what I do is I try to place them with a little bit of space in between. So, something like this. And then I'm going to use a large Douglas fir to kind of fill up the dead spots here. And there you go. So that is one example of foliage that I prefer to use. As you can see, it's pretty simple, but it's very effective. And I think they both kind of match, if you will. Now another combination I like to use is the large hazel. So I'm just going to use this area as an example. And again, I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm just going to place a whole bunch of them, make sure there's a little bit of space in between for our other tree. So let's just take this patch right here. All right, and I'm going to use the large holly. So this is a little bit more lighter, if you will. The colors of the trees match a bit more compared to the large oak and the large Douglas fir. But, this one is also really nice. So these are 2 combinations that you can use in terms of foliage. Now, when it comes to these sugar pines, when we're trying to make a bit of a more like a pine forest, like this roller coaster is situated more in a northern part of the earth, if you will. Actually, let me just open this up. People can already ride this. So when it comes to the pines, I just stick to pine trees because generally with pine trees, you're going to find just pines in that forest, if you will. So I would use large sugar pines with medium and then just, something like this. So if you're looking for a more, like I said, a more northern or more like pine tree type of thing deal, you can use large and mediums. So those are the 3 kind of options I would say you can choose from. But again, it really depends on the style that you're going for. Because of course, if we want this to be a Western themed roller coaster, well, first of all, I would change the colors. But then we would use, of course, the Western type trees. So cacti and dead trees and some tumbleweeds and stuff like that. So make sure that you fit the trees to your the style of the park or the roller coaster. So I'm going to go ahead and delete a whole these examples, and I'm going to use this option for now. So the large oak and the large Douglas fir. Actually, interceptor needs to be tested. Okay, do a test run. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this, and I'll see you guys in just a minute. Okay, so from here now we can just start placing these trees, and again, try to keep a bit of space in between so you can plant those large Douglas firs. And we're just going to keep on going and going and going. So that is, of course, one part of the equation. Now let's talk a little bit about lakes. Now, when you want to make a river or a lake, it's really not that easy or really not that difficult. So you go to the landscape mode, terrain shaping, and there's a different few options. Now this one is actually kind of cool. You're able to actually change the terrain just like we're able to do in RCT 1 and 2. So with this block method, if you will. Over here you have a few options to kind of smooth things out or to make things blocky or whatever. And of course here you have your options to raise terrain and lower terrain. And you can choose between mountains, a ridge, and all this type of stuff. Now let's go ahead and lower the land a little bit And I'm gonna go ahead and make a lake maybe right here. So the guests have a nice view of the roller coaster here, and then there's like a small lake or whatever, small pond. And we're gonna make sure it's not too deep. So, you know, something like this, and then something like this. Doesn't have to be super, super fancy, but there you go. Now to make sure that the edges aren't too rough, let's say like here, you can go to the smooth terrain function and then go to this one, terrain averager. I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller and just very gently, like click by click, just kind of even things out a little bit, making sure I don't go too much over the path, because then it'll mess up the pathing, if you will. So there we go. Maybe smooth out this a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. That's pretty good. Now we're going to, of course, add some water. Now, if you click on any sort of lowered surface, you can see it automatically fills with water. And the higher you click, of course, the higher the water will be. So I want it to be, yeah, I don't know, something like this. That's kind of nice. Yeah, it's actually pretty good. So for some reason, I'm not sure if it's with you guys, but sometimes it just kind of spaces out like this, which has been unfortunate. But I do know that when you ride the roller coasters, it's fine. Now I do want some sand texture to be below this lake, because I think that makes sense. So we're going to go ahead into the terrain textures. And again, here are some features that you can choose in terms of terrain. Whole lot of options, but we're of course going to go with the smooth sand or dune sand, either way, just a sand feature. And I'm going to paste that around the lake or the pond or whatever you want to call this. Just like this. So now we have kind of a nice lake that's situated next to the roller coaster and the pathing. So that's kind of cool. And of course, I want to make some hills so you guys also have an example of that. So let's go ahead here. And I don't want to make any mountains. Yeah, let's just make some hills. And I'm going to make it a bit bigger. So how about we just make some mountains right here? So we're just going to raise and slowly move the mouse. And yeah, I don't really have any specific rules here. Just make sure that they kind of, you know, they're not too janky or whatever. But then again, you know, when it comes to landscaping, you can use whatever you want to use. So this could be fine, or a bit sharper, a bit higher up. It really depends for the look, what, you know, the look you try to go for. So yeah, let's just use something like this, and then it kind of goes against this lake here. Yeah, let's just use like make a like small hill here. Something like this, raise it a bit in the front here. There we go. Okay, so now we got kind of a ridge here. Let me just extend that towards here, why not? Okay, there we go. All right, now what I'd like to do when it comes to these very steep parts, I like to use the rock texture. I'm gonna use this one, terrain surface, and then we're gonna go to, where is it, the rock texture? Yeah, this one, rock. And I'm going to make it very small, like 2 or something, and then just kind of slowly, actually this one I don't really like, rock, this one, yeah, sorry, this one, the darker one, I like this one a bit more. And I'm going to paste this where it's very steep, so to say. So just going to carefully put that where it's, you know, so steep that you would expect there to be rocks. I mean, not sure if that makes a lot of sense, but there you go. And again, you know, I'm not the best when it comes to making like this surroundings, if you will, mountains or something like that. So I always kind of, you know, improvise. So here's a bit steep, and here's still a bit of a steep area. So you know, something like this. So I think this looks not too bad. And of course, we are going to finish it off with some trees. So we're going to go back to our, let's see here, a large oak and Douglas fir. I'm going to just put that all over. I'm just going to make sure I don't put it somewhere like here where it's like, you know, on the rock texture. Of course, that wouldn't make sense. So I would put one here, put one there, and like a couple of here. You know, this would make sense. Just make sure you don't cover the very, very steep pieces, because that would make a lot of sense. So like this. And we're going to go around. I'm going to go around like so. One over here, one over here. There we go. And then we're going to use our large Douglas firs to kind of fill up the dead area, the dead space a little bit. We can put some trees here on top. And there we go. As you can see, this, you know, the same principle still applies here, where you're just, you know, using 2 or 3 examples of types of trees where you can, you know, they kind of match with each other. I will say that when it comes to making mountains, like if you want to make a really high area, it will actually make more sense that the higher area will have some more pine trees, because, you know, You can, I guess, I'm not a geologist, so you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but you'll generally find pine trees in more colder climates. But yeah, like I said, I'm not a geologist, so don't quote me on this. So yeah, I think this looks pretty good. Again, I could also cover this side, but we're just going to focus around the roller coaster. So I think that looks kind of nice. So I'm just going to go ahead and place some more trees around this area. And I'll see you guys in a couple of minutes. And there you go. And that's pretty much the end of the masterclass, because we have covered all the bases. We've covered roller coaster design, different types of roller coasters, the supports, the additions to the roller coaster, like the catwalk, the station, the queue, pathing around it, the fences. We've talked about a whole bunch of custom scenery you can use. We've talked about, of course, foliage and a whole bunch of other stuff. So yeah, that concludes the masterclass. So I don't know about you guys, but I think this looks quite nice. And just for fun and giggles, I'm going to put up some footage here of the roller coaster when we just built the roller coaster itself. So no footage, no scenery, no nothing. And I'm going to go back to our end product now. And I don't know about you guys, I think this looks pretty darn amazing. So yeah, I think now all that there's left to do, let me just save this one real quick so I have it saved. I think all there's left to do now is ride our roller coaster and see what it's like. So yeah, how about you guys just jump in along with me and let's see how it looks with all these scenery in place. And here we go. All right, so we're starting off. I'm going to turn around to the chain lift, and we have our catwalk here supporting, of course, the chain lift. Like I said, if it breaks down or something, the maintenance crew can come up, or the guests can walk down in an emergency situation. Right, here we go. That's a much better view than before. Very nice look on those custom supports, those big looping supports from JCat Steelworks. And up close, you can really see the intricate design of our custom supports made with Moby Steel Jungle. I'm gonna go down into this big 0G roll here. Nice look at the sun. Into our overbank turn. And we're going to hit the mid-course brake run. Again, some brakes and, of course, a catwalk. Make a big turn here into our incline loop. Very nice. We got some quick corners here. The path right next to us. A nice, smooth, big corkscrew into a final helix. And then we go back down into the last curve and we hit the brake run. Nice. I don't know about you guys, but this is a pretty nice roller coaster, if I say so myself. I'm pretty proud of this. I think it looks quite amazing. And yeah, that's, like I said, that concludes the end of the masterclass. So, I really hope I was able to let you guys know how to build a realistic roller coaster in RCT3 from start to finish. So everything included, coaster design, custom scenery, surroundings, all that. I hope I was able to be clear and concise to you guys and be informative enough where you guys can pick up this information and improve your roller coasters. And yeah, as always, I want to thank you for watching these episodes. I'll be probably back soon with, a new coaster build or something else. But until then, hope you learned something, and thank you very much for watching this masterclass. Have yourself a wonderful day.